It is Monday, July 27th. It is time to get in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3. Joel is not here. He's a coward. He's running from the grind. I should actually be nice to Joel. He had a late night. He went to Redemption last night and it seemed like he had a good time. Asked the best questions at the press conference, so I have to give him credit there. I gave him one of those questions, but I won't take too much credit for that. SP3, how you doing, buddy?
I am doing wonderful. I told Jeremy I was a little tired, but I am maintaining, and I get excited talking about professional wrestling with all of you, and especially with Jeremy. We got to talk about AEW Redemption, a very long show, some good, some not so good, and the road to All In is looking a lot clearer, so we got a lot to discuss on today's show. I'm excited to be here in Joel's place, who did wonderful at Redemption.
I'll take all the credit for Joel, actually. You know what? Forget being humble and just taking credit for one thing. I'm going to take credit for everything that he did. No, Joel did a great job. He was very good at the press conference. He went to multiple shows. I know he went to Mystery. I know he went to Produce. I think he did some interviews from both of those shows. And then I don't know what else he did. He was wearing light colors, and it tripped me out. Like he was wearing like a Hawaiian kind of style shirt. He wore white on the show on Friday. This is like a new Joel Pearl we're seeing. It's very upsetting.
I did see that when I clicked on the show on Friday, and it did take me back a little bit. I was like, I don't think I've ever seen Joel wear a plain white shirt.
Yeah, it was a little upsetting. Honestly, it definitely threw me off for the weekend. Guys, before we get into anything, leave a thumbs up on the video. There we go. Leave a thumbs up on the video. Tap the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a super chat. All that fun stuff. We appreciate that. The love and support goes a long way. SpongeBoy Loves Graps asking, did you talk with Jeremy about LeBron? No, because the LeBron news broke at like 11:40 on Friday. So yes, I was on the air with Joel. But SP3, how do you feel about LeBron going to Philly?
I mean, this is LeBron's MO. He usually goes where the momentum is guiding him, and the momentum guided him to Philadelphia. I think that Philadelphia now becomes like a top 2, top 3 favorite in the East. I don't think they're better than the New York Knicks quite yet. We'll have to see them on the court before we can say otherwise, but that starting lineup is one of the best in the whole entire league and probably one of the best of LeBron James' career. One of the big losers out of this one would either be Jaylen Brown, who left Boston because it seemingly felt like he didn't want to be number 2, and now he's on a team where he can realistically be number 4 if he's not on the top of his game. And then bigger loser in this whole trade, as far as on the Philadelphia side, is VJ Edgecombe. VJ Edgecombe had a lot of minutes that he got because Joel Embiid wasn't there, and he was able to grow so much in his rookie year, and he looked like a guy that could become an all-star. And now he's got 3 superstars, arguably, or potential superstars in Jaylen Brown and Tyrese Maxey. And then you have 2 legitimate superstars in Joel Embiid and LeBron James that he has to work next to. It's going to make him very difficult for him to progress in the same way. His usage rate is going to go down this season. So I think on the Philadelphia side, he's the one that loses out in the end. As far as their defense, I said nothing because there's not much to talk about as far as the defensive end of the ball. And that's why I think that the New York Knicks are still the better team. There's an argument that if the Kawhi Leonard trade goes through, that the Toronto Raptors could potentially be better than the Philadelphia 76ers. But Sixers have put themselves in a great position to be a threat in the Eastern Conference. But LeBron James, I mean, I don't think this does anything for his legacy, or as far as like hurt his legacy or help his legacy. I don't think it does either of those things, but it does kind of damage how we look at NBA history, because the Philadelphia 76ers is one of those like all-time historic teams. It's one of the original teams. So to have LeBron go there under these circumstances, it's just weird.
I don't think it like hurts his legacy. If he wins a championship, it definitely helps. What?
I don't think it. I don't honestly think winning a championship with this team is gonna help his legacy all too much. It looks better in retrospect, but I think in the in the short term, it's not gonna. Everybody's gonna be like, well, look at the team that you won with.
Yeah, but the team that you won with also got swept in the second round last season, and Joel Embiid's
But that was before they added Jaylen Brown.
Sure. But Jaylen Brown, the guy who choked away a 3-1 lead to this team in the first round. And Joel Embiid's never been to a conference finals. It's, again, a team that hasn't won since the 1980s. The Sixers have been very much clowned for the past, really since the whole process stuff, and then trust the process and everything. You win a title in Philadelphia. Yes, it's a very good team, but he's also 42 years old. It's not like we're talking prime LeBron joining this team. Like, you win another championship, even with a really good team that was already assembled at this stage of your career, though, in a city like Philadelphia. Like, I think it helps. I'm not saying like it puts you. It doesn't. I don't think he can do anything to jump Jordan, by the way. So it helps in that.
That's the only thing that helps his legacy. His legacy is that he's the second greatest player of all time. Helping his legacy would mean that it improves upon that. And I don't think it does. Like I said at the beginning of my whole diatribe, I don't think this move helps or hurts his legacy whatsoever.
Okay. I think it helps in that he will be. I think some people will look at it as it puts him ahead of Jordan. I personally don't, but I think those
people are already convinced he is ahead of Jordan. So I don't think that once again, it doesn't help his legacy.
Maybe. I mean, he can maybe get to 7. It is weird that he can't get to 7. I'm just kidding. It is weird that LeBron has like played for 4 teams now. Yeah. That one and like Durant always trips me out. Durant's played for like 10 teams at this point. It might be another one by this time next year. Like, we think of and a lot of these great players, and they played for 1, maybe 2 teams throughout their career, because they went to some team at the end of their career when they were like completely washed. And we call that just the Wizards Jordan year, where it's like we try not to actually remember that happened. But it just feels weird now that he's on like team 4 and everything.
Yeah, well, I think this is realistically, this is really his 5th team, because he was on Cleveland twice.
Sure.
But I'm talking him and Durant are pretty much the same, because Durant has 5 teams.
But I mean, it's still 4 teams. Like, it's 5 different stints, but it's 4 teams that he's only played for.
Okay.
I think Philadelphia will be good. I thought they'd be good when they just had Jaylen Brown. I think this complicates things a little bit. You know me, SP3. I've talked about this plenty. I don't love when teams make full sweeping changes in the offseason. I think it can take a while to get it together, and it may never come together. And you're adding 2 starters, one who is Jaylen Brown, and the other who is still really good, but may or may not want to play off ball because he says he does, but then he doesn't, and then he complains or wants to go elsewhere when he has to play off ball. And Joel Embiid's never healthy. I just don't know how it fully works. They got 82 games to figure it out. But yeah, I put the Knicks above them. The Raptors, even with Kawhi, I'm iffy on them being better than the Sixers. Every other team, I mean, the Pistons feel like they're going to take a step back. They got
the Pistons feel like they might not even make the playoffs.
I mean, if they get Durant under contract, like, they're still a good team. That's not a team that's going from first seed to missing the playoffs. They're not that bad, but
I think they're going to go from first seed to at least like a 7 seed.
I think they'll fall. Cleveland's still kind of an iffy team, honestly. Like
I feel like out of all the teams, who's the losers? I feel like Cleveland is. I feel like Cleveland and Golden State, the two other teams.
Golden State's a disaster.
The two other teams that people thought LeBron was going to, they like the window is closed basically on Cleveland. Like they have this year to show where they're going to be for the next couple of years, but they're going to blow that team up. It just seems like a foregone conclusion at the end of next season when they lose in the playoffs yet again. The Golden State Warriors, yeah, it's they have totally freaking sacrificed Steph Curry's final years of his career.
That team's an absolute disaster because they 100% were just all in on LeBron, and they haven't done like anything else. And they didn't get LeBron. Maybe they wanted to get Anthony Davis, but they didn't try hard enough to get Anthony Davis. I don't think they had a good enough package to get for Anthony Davis, but we've seen Anthony Davis force his way to teams in the past, and if a player wants to go to a certain team, he's going to go there. That team's a disaster. They're running back a 10th seed.
That's crazy. It's crazy
like
to say, but it is true.
Like they were already an older team too, and now they're a year older on top of that, and that's what they're deciding to run back. They're not gonna have Butler for at least the first half of the season. No. They're not gonna have Moses Moody, who was maybe their best young player for maybe the entire season because he has ruptured patella. Like they're running back a 10th seed. Like what? In what world is this a great idea? Oh, like they didn't have a whole lot of flexibility because they screwed up just about every draft pick they had, and they didn't have just many draft picks to go along with that. I do like Yaxel Lindenborg. I wanted him in OKC. I'm sad that he ended up in Golden State. I think he'll be good, but if your biggest impact of the offseason as a 10th seed was, hey, we got the 12th overall pick who's a 24-year-old coming out of college, like that doesn't really inspire a whole lot of confidence to say we're going to be better this season. Matthew's saying I can see them dumping Butler in a first for some mid players.
I don't think that's going to do anything for them.
I don't think people want Jimmy Butler's contract. Like, yeah, you attach a first, maybe. I don't think they want to attach a first because they know they're not good. Like, they're just not. It's going to be a heavily protected first. They're not just going to willingly give up a lottery pick because they know they're not good.
I don't see Golden State even making the play-in this year. That's how bad things are down. I could see the Dallas Mavericks making the play-in before the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see Dallas over Golden State. And Butler is expiring. That might allow some teams. Like maybe Sacramento wants to get off their terrible contracts. That's legitimately all I can see. They still have Levine, right? They didn't buy him out. They bought out the Rosen.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to get off. I don't know if Levine's an expiring deal either. But if Levine has more than one season left, I could see them like wanting to get off the Levine deal, and maybe they do that. But I also don't think they want to trade Butler. I think they like Butler. I think they want to be supportive of Butler, and they just don't want to trade him because he got injured.
Yeah.
Truthfully.
Yeah, I agree. It looked good for a little bit there when they first got Butler at the end 2 years ago at the end of the regular season. But yeah, it's just the injury happened this season. Now they're kind of in a state where it just looks like they're so close to rebuild mode, and we still have a couple of more seasons with Steph Curry.
Levine's an expiring. Okay, well, never mind then. That's no. I picked up. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I wasn't positive on what Levine's well, that deal's probably not happening. Then there's no reason to trade an expiring for an expiring. Like,
no.
Maybe Milwaukee wants to get off Miles Turner and Kuzma. Kuzma might be an expiring. I know Miles Turner is not expiring, but yeah, he's got like 3 years left on his deal. Maybe Milwaukee wants to get off the Kuzma deal, but if he's expiring, then probably not. Yeah, I don't know. It's not a good situation though. I'll say that for. I don't know if they're trading Steph. Steph has got to ask out. They're not just going to trade Steph.
And this is going to be just like the Giannis situation. And he's only got a few years left. It doesn't make any sense for Steph to request a trade.
I mean, if he wants to compete for a championship, but maybe he's okay just ending his career in Golden State. We got to remember, some players are okay being. I mean, Kobe did request a trade. They try to scrub that footage from the internet.
Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't hear anything about that.
Some people are okay being, Dirk and Kobe and just, all right, maybe we're not good,
Duncan.
but Duncan, yeah. I mean, the Spurs were always good, though, was the thing. Like, the Mavericks at least had a couple seasons was like, you guys are just kind of okay. And the Lakers had those seasons as well. Some people are just okay with that. And so maybe he just feels fine just finishing out his contract. Draymond said, Draymond could be lying, but Draymond said, like, I'd rather lose the guys that I've won with than try to win somewhere else. And maybe that's Steph's mindset as well. It's like, I'd rather just go down swinging with Draymond and Kerr rather than go elsewhere. If that's his mindset, then all right, fine.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Some players want to be Carmelo Anthony on the Knicks. I mean, Carmelo went everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Melo became a journeyman.
Yeah, he went to OKC. He went to Atlanta, although he didn't actually play, but he went there.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, he went to the Lakers, Portland. Yeah, he went everywhere. All right. We got a lot to talk about with AEW, so let's get into it. AEW Redemption. What was your biggest takeaway from this show, SP3?
The biggest takeaway from the show for me was they probably shouldn't have added the show. One. And two, they used this show to kind of set in place the big matches for Wembley Stadium, which I thought was smart usage of the show. If you're going to do the show, that's the way you should do the show. You should do big announcements for matches that will hopefully move some more tickets, a big angle for the main event that you already set up, which they did that. They finally solved what I've been talking about. I think we've been talking about it for months, the issues with the Jon Moxley, the Will Ospreay, Jeff Ryder story. And they treated that as the show long narrative and paid it off all at the end and made Ospreay an undeniable babyface that had the crowd standing on their feet chanting his name by the end of the show, and then gave him some adversity to overcome on the road to All In with his former friend feeling like he was going to betray him and then betraying him first.
What did the Death Rider stuff accomplish with Ospreay?
I really am like so baffled. Like there was no okay, so I figured it out. I've been racking my brain all week about this because I've been talking Redemption. I talked to Redemption with you. I talked Redemption on the True Hill Heat channel, on the preview, on the flagship, and I came to this realization. This whole storyline would make a whole lot more sense, and we would have accomplished so much more if we go all the way back to when this story starts at Dynasty. Remember, before Dynasty, Will Ospreay versus Jon Moxley was scheduled for a grudge match, non-title grudge match. Will Ospreay attacks Jon Moxley after he wins an eliminator and tells him he wants Continental rules. He wants him to put the Continental title on the line. And of course, in AEW nature, they just made the matchup. It's official. It's for the Continental Championship. Now, if we go back to there and they adjust this one little thing, Moxley says if you want a Continental Championship matchup, you have to put something on the line. If you lose, you join the Death Riders. This whole story makes a whole lot more sense. And we don't have to go through why the top babyface, the biggest babyface in the company, the guy that we're crowning at our biggest show of the year, why is he a dummy that doesn't realize the Taliban is bad? Like I'm just saying, it's just like, I understand that Will Ospreay in character and to a lot of people sometimes in real life, he's just a dumb babyface. But like, this was just ill-advised, because if he was anyone else except for the guy that the Death Riders murdered last year, they murdered him last year. If he was anyone else, if he's freaking Kevin Knight, if he's Speedball Mike Bailey, if he's Bandito, Brody King, he could be anyone, not the guy that they murdered last year, who doesn't realize that he has joined the Taliban. Like, that is, how do you expect the fans, the overwhelming fans, the majority of fans, to cheer for that babyface to win the world title when for 3 months he was in the Taliban, not realizing the Taliban does terrorist-like things, like putting bags over people's heads?
Will Ospreay is an assassinless assassin. You know how this story makes more sense, SP3? If they did exactly what I said they should have done, and they did Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley in the main event. Because if Kenny Omega beats Jon Moxley, and then they do this whole angle of they still want to murder Omega afterwards, but Ospreay says the takeaway can be, Ospreay realizes that maybe Moxley isn't who he claims to be because he could not beat Kenny Omega. I see you have the look on your face. What was your big problem?
That is nothing. That solves nothing. Like,
what do you mean it solves nothing?
I told you how you solve this whole story.
There can be other ways to solve a story.
But doing Omega and Moxley now does not solve the issues that has been the story. That's what we're talking about here. You're trying to force feed your right.
You're trying to solve the issue.
It's not that. That's not the issue with last night's show. It's not, they should have done Omega and Moxley. No, I disagree.
Okay. You're trying to solve the issue by going back 8 months to when they started this whole thing. They've already started it. The whole thing can at least have a better ending and not feel like a waste of time if they had just done this last night. Because your issue...
No, the Omega... I just disagree that Omega and Moxley last night does not solve any of the issues that I'm addressing here. Honestly, what they did last night solved more issues than doing Omega and Moxley. Your
issue with Omega and Moxley was, Moxley feels like the final boss. Why are you beating him and everything? And then he lost a tag team match to a concussed Nick Jackson. So he probably could have just lost in the main event to Kenny Omega, and it would have been okay. I still think Moxley and Omega should have been the main event on this show. Obviously, you disagree. That's fine.
Yeah, because I don't think you came up with a good enough reason for it.
You're not going to buy my reason. My reasoning is fine.
I don't think it's a good enough reason. I'm not saying I'm buying or selling it. I just don't think it's a good enough reason. I understand the reasoning. I understand your logic, reasoning, but okay. I don't think that it's the right. It solves anything to do
your
with
reasoning
going on here.
Your reasoning for Ospreay joining the Death Riders is they do the match and then you have to join the Death Riders, right? Okay, sure. But then he can just leave at any time? Because that's what happened last night if you do that angle. 3 months later, he's like, well, I had to join 3 months ago, but now I see what you guys are really about, so now I'm just going to leave.
No, of course, if you change that one reasoning from 3 months ago, then you don't get the angle from last night. But you do solve a lot of the issues of the storytelling that we've gotten over the last 3 months. And then you do.
Okay, so you're trying to solve the issue 3 months ago. I'm just trying to solve the issue. I'm
trying to solve the last 3 months.
We can't change.
I didn't have. Let me just make this clear. I didn't have an issue with anything they did last night. I thought the angle was excellent. It was a good piece of business that set us on course for All In. You're trying to say that it didn't. The Ospreay and Death Riders thing didn't accomplish anything. So then I'm trying to fix the story. The last night, I have no issues with. It was a great angle. It got over with the fans. It got over with the fans online. Everybody's talking about Ospreay and Omega. What else did you want to accomplish with last night's program that would be accomplished with Moxley and Omega? I don't understand that.
I'm doing the same angle. I'm not changing the angle from last night. We're still doing the angle from last night. Here's the difference between what we're doing here. You are trying to solve it from the start. I'm trying to solve it from the end. Does that make sense?
I think they solved it at the end.
But they didn't.
They did. Omega.
They solved it by making the whole thing pointless.
Ospreay's the undeniable. So you have to go back to the beginning. Then you don't solve it last night. If you're gonna do the same angle, you don't make it worthwhile last night. You don't make it worthwhile.
I don't think
switching the opponent.
I don't think the ending. I don't think the ending is good. Then I don't like that ending. If that's your start, then you have to come up with a whole other ending.
So that is where we disagree.
Okay. What'd you think of the match?
I thought it was a tremendous main event to the show. I thought that they rarely in AEW. I'm so used to AEW main events going back and forth. Guys are evenly matched. These are two of the best in the world having this epic main event matchup. This one was Kenny Omega took some heat in the early going. He made his comeback and he absolutely whooped Kevin Knight's ass. He whooped his ass and whooped his ass, talked some trash to him and whooped his ass some more, kneed him in the face, bit suplexed him every which way. This was absolutely tremendous main event contest. I thought that Kevin Knight brought a lot of aggression, intensity, and urgency in his performance. He was a great heel during the matchup, and I just like the fact that it was so different from every other AEW pay-per-view main event.
Yeah, I love this main event. I love the structure of it. I love the layout. I love that Kenny Omega is proving he's a better wrestler than Will Ospreay in these situations, because this match didn't go 40 minutes like I think an Ospreay match would have. And it also didn't have 100 kick-out sequences at the end. I thought it did a lot for Kevin Knight. I hope there's a strong follow-up with Kevin Knight off of this. I hope he's the TNT champion. He should stay pretty relevant here. And I hope that is the case. But I thought they did a lot with this main event. It was like 25 minutes. Didn't feel like it. I love the ending. Yeah, Kenny just talking his shit and just putting him away, putting him down like he did. Kevin Knight got so much of the heat in the middle portion of it as well that made him look good. I thought it did a lot, and I hope again Kevin Knight comes out of this better. Yeah. For everything,
and they did a different story from this whole program, and the idea of it has gotten so many comparisons to Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Adam Page from last year. But I came out of Kyle Fletcher and Hangman Adam Page from last year feeling like, oh, Kyle is really close to being a world champion, whereas this story, they just told the story of Kevin Knight's got a long way away. So I enjoy that little juxtaposition as well.
Yeah. And the main event angle was the Death Riders come out, attack Kenny. They're going to stomp his neck with the chair. Ospreay cuts him off. Moxley comes out. He takes the bag. The bag whoops Ospreay's ass as he tries to rip it up. And then the Death Riders just leave. And then Kenny and Ospreay shake hands, and we're all friends. And then Kenny hits him with the one-winged angel. You can't heel Ospreay going into All In, so it made sense that Kenny did the heel move here. I don't think Kenny is a full-on heel or anything. He's still
I think that he is. You can justify his actions as he didn't see anything that happened there. He just saw the bag. He saw the bag. He thought his friend was trying to attack him and then trying to play it off like he was still his friend. So he gave him the AJ Styles treatment. I thought this was an excellent angle because it sets them up as Kenny being kind of the subtle heel, as well as the Bucks as well, because the Bucks kind of were conflicted at the end and like, what were you doing, Kenny? And Kenny does the pose and they're like, oh, well. So it makes more sense as far as like storytelling wise with like, what is it, 4 weeks or remaining ahead of All In, where you could position the Bucks as the subtle heels against Cope and Cage. You could position Omega as the subtle heel against Ospreay. But at the same time, you can also have Kenny kind of explain that, oh, I just watched back what happened. I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to attack me with the bag. And you could still get your Elite and Ospreay versus the Death Riders tag match on TV, that's going to be a great TV matchup. So there's a lot that they can do in the next couple of weeks ahead of Wembley.
I'll buy that Kenny got hit in the head in the match, and he thought Ospreay was trying to attack him with the bag. But like, if he wanted to be attacked by the bag, there'd be a bag over his head. What I don't see how there's another conclusion outside of Ospreay saved me in this moment.
No. I just saw the bag. You were trying to play me. You were trying to attack me with the bag. Then you probably no. He thought about doing it. You shouldn't have even thought about doing it.
All right, I can go. You shouldn't have thought about it, but like he still didn't. I just don't see how. Oh, I see the bag. It's not. It's ripped up. This guy's being my friend. Did he attack me with? No, of course he didn't attack you with the bag. Like, I don't. Like, okay, fine. He thought about it. So, yeah, I didn't hesitate. That would be kind of the story here. You hesitated. I didn't hesitate.
Yeah.
This Ospreay stuff kind of sucks. I'm sorry.
Why?
Dude, I like the tag team match with the Bucks. Although I could kind of live without let's act like this guy has a concussion and then continues on the match and then ends up winning the match. But like the action in the match, Ospreay and the Bucks and Moxley, it was fantastic. It was a great match.
I thought the story was better.
I just don't love we're gonna do kind of a fake concussion type thing. Just don't.
I like it as a story. I
Okay.
I think that because he had me convinced at first that they really clocked heads. So
Sure.
I was into the story right from the bat. I think the only thing that I could nitpick or say that they should have adjusted is they should have had the doctor come over and check Nick. The fact that Will and Matt were the most concerned about Nick rather than the doctor and the referee, that would be something that would take me out of the story. But I thought the story and how they worked it was absolutely superb.
He has a concussion, and then Ospreay kicks him in the head 3 times and elbows him, and he just stays standing.
He was wobbling. He didn't stay standing. He
got kicked in the head 3 times.
Yeah, he's fucking dazed.
You have a concussion. You go out. If you're telling me the guy has a concussion, he goes out.
If you're already in La La Land, you're just dazed and you don't know.
You go down. I've watched enough MMA to know that if you get knocked down like that and then you try to stay upright, you're wobbly just trying to stay upright, and then you get hit one more time, you go down again.
It's wobbly.
Okay.
Nick Jackson's made of harder stuff than those MMA fighters.
Oh, clearly he beat final boss Jon Moxley, who never loses with a concussion. So,
Agreed.
But then the match doesn't end because Ospreay's like, "I don't want to hurt you, bruv." I'm like, who is this man to you? You've never teamed with this man.
Well, they've long established. They long established 2 years ago that Ospreay has a conscience, and he only wants to go to that killer instinct level when it matters the most.
Like on Collision.
No, when someone disrespects him, yeah, he'll do it.
I
If
mean,
you disrespect him, or a title's on the line. That's
he
when
did
he's
it
willing to go there.
He did it to Adam Brooks on Collision. So
Who disrespected him? Who spit in his face?
all right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm also he's I read an interview, or maybe he didn't. I think it was a written interview. Read an interview with Ospreay saying like, I won't hesitate to hit the Tiger Driver on Kenny at All In. It's like, oh, okay. But then at the pay-per-view, you're hesitating to just beat up.
Because it wasn't with the title on the line, or the person did disrespect. I'm telling y'all the story. I don't understand what's
the story's not good. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not good.
It makes sense. I like the story. I dig it.
Okay.
I think it was good.
It's not All In. Yeah, he needs to show this killer instinct before. And then you get to the backstage. He's like, I don't want to kill anybody, bruv.
In a regular
Weeks after, he's saying, the Death Riders have made me an assassin. They turned me into who I needed to be.
But the more people said, "Yo, dude, you're in the Taliban," the more he's thinking about what have they really turned me into. And then also that was the story of the whole matchup going in, is that the Bucks are like, Moxley has manipulated you. Moxley's in your head. This is not you. So everyone, his friends, his former enemies, his former opponents are all saying, dude, you're in the Taliban. So it made him readjust and reassess who the hell he is, and does he really want to go to this level for a match, not for the title, against someone that didn't disrespect him. I don't understand what's the issue. I like the story. To each his own.
Do you think an assassin?
And I love the matchup.
Do you think an assassin is just a mass shooter? No, I think an assassin kills people, though. Like, that's literally what assassin is.
He kills people. He gets the biggest payday for it. That's the assassin. Assassin is given a mission to take someone out.
Well, his mission was he needed to beat the Young Bucks and prove that he has a killer instinct, and he didn't. So he's a failless
because
assassin.
Because he's like, why am I listening to Osama bin Laden? Why am I doing this for Osama bin Laden? Why am I in the Taliban? This is all very logical and in your face. The storytelling of this, like, I am someone that has called out all the flaws of the Ospreay Death Riders storyline coming into this show, but I have no issues with the story they told last night, and it makes all the sense of every action that Ospreay did last night.
Ospreay looks like a bitch.
No, he doesn't.
I got no.
He's a babyface with a conscience.
I'm looking forward to Ospreay and Moxley at All In. That's definitely the main event here, because that's been the story.
No, because that's not what the story they told last night.
The story they told last night wasn't very good.
It was excellent.
It wasn't fully into the Death Riders. He took the patch.
Yeah, stupidly. And then he immediately regretted it, and he immediately had someone that he looks up to questioning it, being like, I don't know about all of that. He's had his best friends in Japan all calling him out for it. This has all been in your face, and they've been telling the story very clearly. All the actions of Ospreay last night make sense if you've been paying attention to the story they've been telling leading up to it. I've had a whole bunch of issues with this story, trust me. Coming into last night, I have no issues with what happened last night.
Okay. All right. I just don't think it's good. I think there's...
No, I get that, and I like the fact that you got there. Because before you were trying to make it sound like it didn't make sense. And
I never said it didn't make sense.
No,
I never said that.
And I didn't say you said that. I said you were you made it sound like you were trying to say it didn't make sense. And that it makes a whole bunch of sense. So that's why I think that it both makes sense, and it's actually good.
I never said it didn't make sense. I said it's not good. And I don't think this is how you should be booking your top babyface going into Wembley Stadium. That's my biggest issue with it.
You eventually got to it's not good. Originally, you were asking questions on why Ospreay was doing these decisions, and I quickly explained it very naturally from.
See, that's how this works, SP3. You're welcome. You're welcome for getting there. Yeah.
I'm helping you. You helping me. This is how a podcast works.
Yeah. The match with, again, the Bucks and the Death Riders, I didn't mind the match. I didn't love the concussion stuff. I guess you can explain that, they're telling you the concussion was fake by having him getting hit in the head 3 times and not dying on impact there. It's like, okay, he must be fine then. Bucks win. That's set up later in the night where they confronted Cage and Cope after they beat Death Rider B Team in a match that was about 15 minutes too long.
Oh my God. Why did they book that match like that? Because, man, that match followed, unfortunately, 2 of the worst AEW pay-per-view matches in a very long time.
Yeah. Some of these matches, like, I appreciated that Tony truncated this card and didn't have it quite as long.
Mm-hmm.
But we did not need that chain match to be as long as it did, and we probably didn't need Maya and Shida to be as long as it did.
16 and a half minutes.
And we didn't need this tag team match to be as long as it did either.
No. And it didn't need to be booked as, let's stop the crowd from cheering, from singing Metalingus, Let's attack Cope. So it's a 2-on-1 for the 80% of the matchup.
Yeah.
It was good. It wound up the last half of the matchup. It was good. It wound up being a good matchup. And out of the 3 matches in the middle portion of the show, it was the best. But man, I feel for Jay White. A year and a half on the sidelines, your first pay-per-view match back, and they give you a freaking chain matchup, and y'all can't even get the chain
match with no blood.
No chain match with no blood in AEW.
Yeah,
a chain match that ends with the heel hitting the babyface with a stick, not
sucked.
That chain. Oh my god! It's like every wrong decision they could have possibly made in this goddamn matchup. They did. First of all, this matchup shouldn't have been the 4th match on the card because it followed 3 bangers, 2 certified. I feel like the Bucks versus Mox and Ospreay is one of the best tag team matches of the year. Fletcher and Bandito is arguably the best match on this show, a match of the year candidate. And then you follow that with the dogs coming out, and it's oh my! You could hear a pin drop in Montreal. Yeah. It was so damn quiet. Bang Bang Gang came out. They got a little bit of a response. And then the match started, and you could hear a pin drop throughout the whole thing. The only thing that got a reaction was the tug of war spot where Jay White pulled the chain, and that's about it.
It felt like they were just waiting on the blood. It felt like the crowd was waiting for something to enhance this match and give you the reason to really care about things. And it just never happened. And I saw somebody say, like, oh, don't do 2 hardcore matches on the same show. That's not the issue here. This ain't the first time AEW's done multiple kind of like no DQ style matches on a show. And these were different enough. Like the chain match compared to the no DQ match, the Painmaker match, were much different styles of matches. The issue here is, to me, legitimately, is like, you did a chain match. There was an issue with the finish, but you did a chain match, and it didn't feel like there was this big rivalry with this. Like, we've come to expect blood and just kind of the gruesome nature in these AEW style matches. And so when you don't get it, it feels a little weak. Like, SP3 and I are not the people who are going to complain about, oh, too much blood on the show. There's a time and place for it. Now, sometimes it's like, all right, you did a little too much. But for this one, it's like, it's a chain match. We expect the blood, and they didn't have it. So, and then the finish. Oh, this finish annoyed the shit out of me. Why are they acting like, oh, let me hide the shillelagh? And
it's a chain match.
It's a no DQ chain match. Why do you have to like keep it a secret? And then you use that as the weapon in a chain match. You do a shillelagh on a pole match next? Because that seems like the logical next step here. Yeah, that Dominator, that was rough on Jay White. Oof.
I
glad he's okay.
literally immediately saw it. I was like, oh my god, he almost died. Oh my god. Oh, that was horrible. And it's all because of the chain. His foot gets caught up on the chain. Like, why did they make this a chain matchup? First of all, I think that if this matchup was no change and just a straight up hard hitting tag team matchup, it would have been worlds better than what we got here. I really feel like the change handicapped the guys in the ring because these guys are 4 really good workers, but they just went out there and put on probably the worst AEW pay-per-view matchup since Swerve versus Dustin Rhodes at World's End 2023.
Oh, I don't remember that match. I'll give them a little bit of a pass on that match because it came together like 2 hours beforehand. It was way too long. That match,
it was way too long, and Swerve used a cinder block on Dustin Rhodes' ankle, and Dustin Rhodes wrestled for 10 more minutes. I'll never forget. That's one of the worst AEW pay-per-view matches of all time. Before that, my example to go back to was Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara at All Out 2020. But like The chain match is in that upper edge. See, greater than Haro saying Eddie Kingston versus Big Bill, that wasn't long enough to even make a difference. Like when you bring up All Out 2025 to somebody, they're probably not even gonna remember Eddie versus Big Bill. If you bring up World's End 2023, you'll remember the really good stuff and you'll remember the really bad stuff. And the really bad stuff was Swerve and Dustin Rhodes. If you remember All Out 2020, you'll remember Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. Eddie and Big Bill was a bad matchup, but was it bad to the fact that it was memorable? No.
Yeah, Swerve and Dustin came together like 2 hours beforehand, and instead of realizing he's wrestling Dustin Rhodes and not Keith Lee, they're like, let's just do the exact same match we were going to do. Swerve's like, I was told I was going 25 minutes. You better give me my 25-minute match. I don't care who I'm in there against.
Oh, that's a good shout, Mikey. I'll give you credit for that one. Britt Baker and
on
Mercedes
a pay-per-view. It was on the biggest pay-per-view.
On the biggest pay-per-view of the year. I was third row for it. Mercedes and Britt Baker. That's up there as one of the worst AEW pay-per-view matches.
Yeah, that one wasn't good either.
Yeah.
I feel like there were some matches in the pandemic that weren't very good. Maybe you give them a pass. I mean, I'm not giving Sam and Matt a pass.
The tooth match with Britt and
yeah,
Swole.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
That was all on that All Out show. That All Out 2020 show is like, I don't know if AEW can ever put on a show worse than that one. Like that had that the Sammy and Matt matchup killed the crowd. The best matches on the show are like Sheeta and Thunder Rosa just having a good matchup, and FTR and Hangman and Omega having just a good matchup, and Moxley and MJF having a really good main event. That's what the good on the show was.
Anyway, the dogs won, so there is that. Maya World defeated Hikaru Shida to win the TBS title. Very happy for Maya World. Very not happy this match went 16 and a half minutes. Shida has been she's been extremely hit and miss for 2 years now.
Yeah. I think I've been a Shida defender because Jimmy McElram, the minute she came back on television this year, he was just like, what is this relic from the past doing here? I was like, dude, you talking about her like she was wrestling in the 80s and stuff. But we have seen multiple occasions now where she just hasn't been up for snuff in this big time situation. I thought she was good at Double or Nothing in the 4-way, but here she was not good at all. I thought Maya World was good. Maya sold the knee well and she made a good comeback, but Shida it just seemed like everything was just a step slow in the ring.
And she's been kind of a step slow for a little bit. Again, she's very hit and miss. Sometimes she can turn it on and she's gonna have a really good match. Maybe she needs
she just had one with Queen Aminata on Collision 2 weeks ago.
And maybe I think she needs shorter matches to kind of hide a few things, or she needs gimmick matches because then you can work a slower pace in a gimmick match. But doing an overly long, just one-on-one match, it's a little rough. And this one, unfortunately, was a little rough. But
it was better than the chain match.
Yeah, it was better than the chain match. Yeah. Maya World got the victory. I hope this restores a little bit of order to the TBS title, because after Willow beat Mercedes, Mercedes' run obviously legendary. After Willow beat her, it was like, okay, time for kind of a new era. But then she just did tag team stuff for the first half of that run.
First month.
It felt way longer.
No, it was the first month. I'm telling you.
Okay, I believe you. It just felt longer. And then
because in February is when she starts the open challenges, and she had the match. I think she had a match with Persephone on Dynamite before Revolution, and she had a couple of open challenges on Collision during that time.
And then for that portion, she was just beating people who weren't around for 2 years. And then unfortunately she gets injured, just drops the title, and then returns I don't really care about this title. And fair, she's the world champion now, but I don't care. And then Sheeta had it for like 3 weeks, so there was really no establishing with Sheeta. So I hope Maya World can just kind of reestablish the title a little bit, because it has felt, and partially it was due to Willow's injury, but it has felt like it hasn't been a relevant title for the last little bit here.
It's gonna be good that it's getting back to what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to give the people underneath rising stars the opportunity, like it did for Jade Cargill, who wasn't ready for the women's world championship scene, but you created the TBS title and she was able to dominate that division for over a year. Chris Statlander coming back from injury, getting her first big title that established her and set the groundwork for her to become the women's world champion later on. Julia Hart, where it was like her first big win in the company after she had the gimmick change. For Willow, it was a huge first title in AEW, and then like you said, the Mercedes reign was legendary. She put it on the map, and then like you said, the Willow reign, it was kind of convoluted with it having dual attention for the tag team title reign as well as the TBS championship reign. She was able to get 10 title defenses in that run, but there was none of the matches were like great that we're talking about it to this day. They were just like good matches and some were not so good. So it was kind of like that. And then the Sheeta run was only like 20 days. So
yeah,
is what it is.
Izzy Dame.
I do like the stat that Sheeta has now the shortest TBS title reign and AEW Women's World Championship reign in history.
Speaking of the AEW Women's World title, Willow Nightingale is the new champion. This match was shorter than the TBS title match. Think about that for a second, folks.
Exactly. And why?
Yeah, just think about that for a second. Willow Nightingale did win. So Tekla buried, clearly, no direction for All In. She's just going to be... Maybe she's facing Maya World for the TBS title, because they have no idea what to do with Tekla. Willow did get the victory, backslide for the 1-2-3. What'd you think of this match, SP3?
I thought this was a great match. I thought they were both ladies. The crowd were into both of them. During the matchup, there was dual chants. I thought Willow played the babyface role really well. And it's kind of hard sometimes when the heel is the smaller of the two, but I thought Tekla worked the match so well. She has so much poise in the ring. She's able to get her character across and over with the fans. Anytime she's out there, she worked a good heat. Willow came back, made the comeback, had the fans behind her, took out Sky Blue. I know there were some people that was like they wish that Willow would have won with the power bomb. And maybe but I like when top stars in whatever division, men's, women, if they have a signature roll-up pin. I loved when Bryan Danielson and ROH had the small package. I love Bret Hart with his step up out of the sleeper hold into the pinfall, and I love Willow Nightingale with the backslide, getting the 1-2-3. That's her go-to roll-up finisher, and she got the win here. Happy for Willow, huge accomplishment, becoming the first ever AEW Women's Triple Crown champion. And Tekla, though, man, she deserves so much more. I hope the fact that they protected her with that finish. You're right, Jero. I almost forgot Toni Storm with the big.
Yeah, I was gonna say Toni Storm.
But I hope that Tekla has a big matchup at All In because she deserves it. And I feel like the fact that there is a lot of fans online that's saying that this win felt anticlimactic, it's the fact that Tekla got so over that a lot of us didn't want her to lose the title 1 month before All In. So the Willow win should have made us so happy. Willow Nightingale is one of the most beloved baby faces, but because it's in the semi-main event on a B-level pay-per-view, it could have been the main event. Honestly, I thought the promo segment on Dynamite was good enough that it could have earned that main event spot. And then the Willow title reign feels even bigger. And then you're also giving something huge to Tekla to come out of this title reign, that she gets to headline the pay-per-view, become the first woman to headline the pay-per-view. That would be huge for her. But I'm just hoping that Tekla has a big matchup, and if you don't have a big matchup for her, find a way to put her in this as a triple threat, because although I think that Willow and Mercedes will once again have a superb matchup in Wembley Stadium, the dynamic going into the show will be that much better if Tekla is inserted.
I think part of the issue also with this maybe feeling anticlimactic with Willow winning is it feels like it's going to be a 1 month reign. And I think people want more for a Willow reign than just basically transition it from Tekla to Mercedes. Maybe Willow wins at All In, but then you're beating Mercedes again, failing to win the title again at All In. I don't know how people are going to feel about that. I think that's also part of the issue with this Willow victories. I think people are happy for Willow. It's just, yeah, Tekla's done such a great job with the title, and it feels like she should go into All In as the champion, and then Willow's going to go into All In as the champion to just kind of probably set up a Mercedes victory. So we'll see. Look, people are saying Kyrie as Tekla's opponent. Kyrie signed with Barry Bloom, it looks like. Barry Bloom represents about everybody in AEW. So.
Yeah, I took that. I immediately was just like, oh, Kyrie All Elite. I mean, like that's what that pointed to me. I wouldn't be surprised if we see her in the weeks to come, or at least by All In.
Yeah. All right, if that's what they have lined up for Tekla, okay.
It's a big matchup. So it could be like she just says like, and you can kind of see how much, because I always say when Seth Rollins had the opportunity to do the WrestleMania 38 build, you remember that when they did the whole mystery opponent that was Cody, it said a lot that how much the company value him, that they relied on him to basically do the build on his own. And they did something similar that same year with Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens had to build up to the Stone Cold Steve Austin return. I think that it would be a huge stamp of approval for Tekla from AEW if they gave her like an open challenge against anyone from Stardom. And then it's Kyrie that answers.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I just don't know. I'm with you. It's a good stamp of approval. I don't know if they're going to go to that level with it. Because I don't know if they, and maybe rightfully so, see Kyrie as like that big of a deal to come in like that. Especially if she's gonna...
you should treat anyone coming in as a big deal.
But is she beating Tekla?
Yeah. I would have her beat Tekla. Okay. I would finally have Stardom. This is their way of having Stardom finally get one over on Tekla, but it's on someone that is signed to their company.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah. Willow won the Owen, whoever asked. Willow's a good. Does that mean it would include the Owen Hart Trophy as well? I mean, she won that, but I think it just includes the tag team, TBS, and women's, and she's won all of those. Yeah, and regardless, she's won all these things. So
yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, look, if you think Kyrie's beating Tekla, then I'm fine with that. Like, I think it would make Kyrie a big deal, and I think you can trust Tekla to build it in that way. I would hope Kyrie gets a good reaction out of it. You would think she would, but I don't know. She's not gonna have. It would have to be Tron based, right?
Yeah,
because no one's gonna know her music. Yeah,
the name.
Yeah, at least with Steve Austin and Cody Rhodes, it's like, all right, I recognize those two things that are happening here. And Kyrie just wouldn't have a music you would really recognize. You just see her name and okay, let's pop for the name. I'm not mad at that. I just don't know if. Go ahead.
And no, I was gonna say Henry K. Jackson, is there a world Willow wins? I don't mind Willow winning at All In, because I feel like we never really truly did the downfall of Mercedes Moné's story, because she lost all her titles and she wasn't on TV, and then she came back. She's immediately in the Owen Hart Cup, and a few weeks later, she still has another title. So I think to really kind of tell that story properly, she kind of needs to fail again. She needs to fail again, and then if the rumor is right now, the rumor and innuendo, if you will, is that AEW wants to do a stadium show WrestleMania weekend. That's where I would have Mercedes win the title.
Okay. What else
And
happened?
maybe and maybe if it's a perfect world and it's not what we thought the reason why she was absent, maybe Tony Storm's back by then, and we could do Tony Mercedes too.
I don't know when Tony's going to be back.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't gotten any information after it seemed like we were going to get some confirmation on what's going on, but it just said till the end of 2026, so that's 2027 I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's 4 months into 2027 too, so if it's WrestleMania time. Andrade won the national title. I was so mad that the back elbow immediately off the rip did not end this match, because
dude, that would have been the best finish ever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy Mark Davis got a longer pay-per-view match and everything, but it would have been so out of the norm for just an AEW pay-per-view match of like, oh shit, like they did something different here.
Yeah.
And instead this is not a bad thing when it's like, oh, they just had a really good match.
A really good match. Oh, poor us. We had to watch a really good match.
But good match. Andrade did win, hit the DM for the victory. Thoughts on this match?
Love the new entrance. That new entrance is money. We're to the point it's so money that when Andrade won the national championship, I was like, this is too little for him. He's a superstar. He's a main eventer. He should be higher up the card, honestly. He's got the whole act down. Like, we finally realized what was the missing piece for Andrade during this run, and it was a character. And this real Latino man, basically Latin lover meets Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels character for him. It's just been magic.
Yeah, his entrance, anytime you just throw in a bunch of women on there and he just comes out with all these women surrounding him, like, you just feel like a bigger deal, It's like, oh, this dude fucks.
He does a lot of fucking. Yeah. That's the guy that does a lot of fucking.
Andrade wins. Oh, good on him. He deserved this championship, and he's been so great since returning. So great. Got to respect Andrade kind of cashing in on himself here and making the most of this second run with AEW. Ladder match for the number one contendership for the international title. Mike Bailey may have gotten the biggest reaction of the show on the pre-show when he came out. And then Mike Bailey won the match. Very good ladder match. I hate. Let's do a move off the ladder instead of win the fucking match.
You are underselling this matchup. This match was fucking awesome. It was one of those rare ladder matches where they were doing new shit, which is always a big stamp of approval from me when you start doing new shit through the ladder, because do new shit with ladder matches is always really cool.
Tough. Yeah.
That commander rope walk into the fucking spinning dive into Nick Wayne through the table was absolute perfection. I want to put that on loop and on replay every single time. I thought Speedball was great in this matchup. Nick Wayne was great in this matchup. Jack Perry was awesome. El Clone is just so cool. And I thought that he was like an MVP of the whole entire matchup. Beast Mortos almost killed himself a couple of times during this matchup. But, man, just how over Speedball was, man, just made this match one of the better ones on the whole entire show for me.
Jack Perry, just get the contract, you dummy. Love you,
Yeah,
Jack. But
the reason why I won't like go, oh my god, that's a perfect match of the year candidate or anything like that. Jeremy is 100% right. The amount of times they could have climbed the ladder to grab the contract and decided to just do a move on the gun. You had Speedball, who was in the ring alone, decides to put the ladder in the corner and do the freaking Ultimo Weapon on Beast Mortos on top of the ladder bridge right before he climbed up. That was hilarious.
Commander, same thing. He's up there. He could have just reached and grabbed it. He decided to do a little spin nonsense off the ladder. Came up short on it too, so it looked like it sucked.
Yeah.
It's like just get the contract. The point is to win the match. If I want to see someone go out there and hurt their opponent, maybe that's where Will Ospreay should have taken credence from. He's like, I don't want to win the match. He looked at this. He's like, forget all this winning stuff. It's just hurting their opponents. These guys would be Death Riders. These guys should be some Death Riders here. Like, yeah, we don't care about winning. We just want to murder people. Like, all right, you know what? You're a Death Rider.
They got a pretty bright future in the Death Riders, I will say. Yeah, all these guys rock. I'm so glad that the Visa crew is back. Visa crew showed the hell out in that matchup. Commander's been on a run. Low key, not enough people have been talking about how good Commander is. And maybe it's because like someone like me or Jeremy or other people will watch everything. And he was killing it in Arena Mexico for CMLL during the whole Visa situation. And ever since he's been back, he had that killer matchup with Fletcher on Dynamite. Then he has a great performance here. He had that great multi-man matchup with the Death Riders on Collision a couple of weeks ago. Commander has come such a long way. I remember back in 2023 when he first debuted with AEW, and he was probably one of my most one of those people on the AEW roster that I was most annoyed with, because it felt like every other move he was trying to do the rope walk. And it was like, dude, just do it once. Do it do it twice the most. Do it for the dive and do it for the Salido del Sol, whatever you call your finisher. Like that's the two things you should do it for. You shouldn't do it 3, 4, 5 different times. I still remember that first matchup he had with Jay White, and he did that shit 4 times. And I was like, dude, come up with something else. Do another move. He's ready for it. What the hell is going on? He has improved that. He's knocked that out of his game completely. He only does the rope walk when it really matters the most, and he gets the biggest reaction possible. His timing is flawless now. His feet work is excellent. I gotta hand it to Commander. He's improved so much over the last couple of years.
I'm glad that a lot of these guys are back because, now, not that Collision's been a bad show or anything, but now you get this group in there with the Collision matches and some Dynamite matches. Now we no longer have to pretend that Ace Austin losing is going to lead to some big push.
Oh, man. You guys hate Ace Austin.
I was correct on that, by the way. It led to nothing. Him going 10 minutes with all the people he went 10 minutes with and didn't need to didn't mean anything.
Ace Austin slander. Can't believe it.
I like Ace Austin. Ace Austin's the fifth guy in a group right now. They ran down there in that match, which was about the biggest pop during that dog chain match or the double chain match. Yeah. The biggest pop was the guns coming out, and Austin, not Ace Austin, but Austin Gunn. They love that spot just so Austin Gunn can jump 20 feet down the ramp, and that's it. And then Ace Austin has to look silly because Austin Gunn does his jump.
He's pushing him around.
And then Colton is fighting whoever Austin didn't hit. And then Ace Austin's just like, oh, what am I supposed to do with my hands here?
3-on-2.
There's no one to fight. Poor dude. They couldn't, I guess you couldn't do Claudio Pac. They couldn't just have a random Death Rider out there. I don't know. A mass Death Rider come out there so Ace Austin could beat him off. Kyle Fletcher, Bandito, if you thought this was the best match on the show, I'm not gonna. I preferred Kenny and Kevin Knight. It's kind of more up my alley, but I mean this match was right behind it. It's like saying what was the better.
I think the three best matches on the show were Fletcher, Bandito, Bucks, Mox, and Ospreay, and then Knight and Omega.
2 of those are correct. Fletcher, Bandito, excellent match. Kyle Fletcher wins because the ROH champion is a giant ass loser when it comes to AEW pay-per-views.
Every single pay-per-view. He is now 0-5. 0-4 in pay-per-view matches this year. 0-4.
Yeah.
Way to go. Awesome matchup. Sensational performance by both guys. These are 2 of the best wrestlers in the world, and they showed us why in this matchup. Kyle Fletcher, man, I don't think we've seen somebody come back from injury and just so seamlessly feel like he's even better than he was when he left. Like, to me, it is like that. Like, he's been on a ripper. The Takeshita matchup, the Fletcher match, the tag team match with Brodito on Dynamite, and then this matchup here, which is arguably the best on the show. Some of these bumps and risks they took in this matchup were absolutely brutal. The brainbuster, the sheer drop brainbuster on the apron was killer. Fletcher taking the freaking powerbomb bump all outside on the floor. Bandito doing the Barbario Cavanario freaking frog splash off the top rope to the floor. I was like, your knees are like, he looked like his face hit the mat as well. I was like, oh, that sucked. That was brutal. You got Bandito doing the shooting star press, doing frog splashes. It's kind of unfortunate that it ended the way that it did with the brainbuster on the top rope, and he completely whips it. Yeah. That's the unfortunate part, but it didn't take away from what was an absolutely phenomenal matchup. Like you said, Mikey, the Snapdragon 21-plex, the 21-plex freaking near fall was great. These guys were just killer performance by both.
Kyle Fletcher's so good at the little things, like the in-between stuff of they're just kind of stooging. Like, well, he'll hit like a body slam and then just get up on the middle rope and start flexing and everything. Like, he's so good at that kind of stuff.
No one bumps better than Kyle Fletcher, right?
Yeah.
Like, but Kyle Fletcher, that dude takes some of the most gnarly bumps that no one else in the business wants to take or will take. He is so good in that ring. And Bandito, what a underdog babyface, man. And that's it's unfortunate that he is so great, because that's why Tony uses him in these spots. Like, this spot was not supposed to be this matchup, and it feels like it keeps happening to Bandito, where he's the guy that they kind of plug in when they don't have someone else available. So they didn't have someone else available for Fletcher here, so they plug in, because it felt like this was either Mystico was going to win that ladder match last night, or he was going to be in this matchup. I don't know which one, but
I think he was going to be in the ladder match. I don't know if he was going to win, though. I
think he was going to win.
Okay.
I think that's why the Bailey matchup is at Arena Mexico, because that makes sense. Mystico wins, and he gets the match at Arena Mexico.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just didn't know if they would... Like, it made sense that Bailey was going to win because it was in Montreal. So that's why I was like, oh, they're going with Bailey. I think Mystico was going to be in the ladder match because I thought it was originally going to be this match as well when I listened to Tony talk about it. But then I went back and re-listened to it, and it was pretty clear that he was saying Mystico was like in line for a title shot and could be the number one contender, and he wanted to do this ladder match, and Mystico was going to be part of that. And yeah, it makes sense him winning Arena Mexico, doing that. But then it also just made sense Mike Bailey winning, and they're in Montreal. You can do something else for Mystico and Arena Mexico, and it'll be fine. I don't know if Bandito was always the plan. Not sure if there was somebody else here. It was very strange that, like, oh, Bandito just lost this title match. Let's give him this title match.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Why? But sure. Hopefully Bandito. I'm
hoping he wins one of these pay-per-views.
It'd be nice. Yeah. It'd be nice if he actually won one of these pay-per-views, but we'll see. And then the actual best match on the show, SP3.
I knew you were waiting.
Saving the best for last. That's right.
I was gonna bring it up like 3 matches ago, but I was like, oh, I know what he's doing now. He's trying to save it to the end.
The best match on the show. The Painmaker, Chris Jericho, and Tommaso Ciampa. Chris Jericho's the absolute best because this Painmaker shit should suck so bad. It's so awful. He loves this thing so much. I tweeted this last night. He has a whole comic book like backstory for this character. This man has put so much thought into this Painmaker. He's like, this transcends pro wrestling. This is a comic book anti-hero out here. He sold NFTs for the Painmaker. I can't imagine it made much. But he loves this Painmaker bullshit. And he comes out there and he's got his silly little mask on. And then he takes that off and he's got his silly looking face paint. It's so hokey. It's hilarious to me. When he grabs the mirror and just looks at it, he's like, it's so funny. So funny. Fair credit to Chris Jericho. The man's 50 and going through glass and everything. Like, he doesn't need to do this shit.
He don't need to do this. And that's why I'm going to call out people in the chat. If you asking for Chris Jericho to retire after that performance last night, you don't know ball. I'm here to let you know you don't know ball. This dude is still delivering. This is one of the best runs of Jericho's late stage career in AEW, especially. Like, he has been delivering on pay-per-view. He had a good match with Ricochet, was part of that crazy, awesome freaking Stadium Stampede at Double or Nothing. And then he just had this killer matchup. And I love the fact that it went from like fairly like working it like a WWE no DQ matchup, and then it progressed into an AEW hardcore matchup. Like, it told the perfect story of both these guys' story of these guys started off in WWE, so they're going to work it that way to start off, but then they got better when they got to AEW, and thus the match got better because of it. When he starts raking at Ciampa's skin, I'm like, oh, I know Ciampa's going to pour. Ciampa's going to pour. And then it took seconds. He's just a crimson mask. His crimson mask.
Sandpaper. That looked like it sucked.
Sandpaper had to suck.
Yeah.
Then you got freaking what was it that they did? The freaking spot with the toy mascot where Ciampa hits him with the hockey stick. Ciampa's so smart. Ciampa comes out with the hockey stick and they're cheering because it's Canada. And then he just says, you know what? Put on a Boston Bruins jersey. Boo! Boo this man.
Ciampa was smart. Like, that was all smart stuff. Here's where I'm gonna give Jericho credit. Because, yeah, Ciampa beats up the mascot and everything, and then they go on, they continue the match. Aubrey grabs the mascot, and she's about to toss it out of the ring. And Jericho tells her, no, drop it, leave it. Yeah. Because he knew he could take the mascot and get a pop off of it just by like holding the mascot up and then, hitting Ciampa with it or whatever. Like, he knew we could just get like, no, don't toss that out. I gotta get the pop off of this mascot. Just smart shit by Chris Jericho. Even dumb little things of like, oh, he drops the hockey pucks and they got tax on him. He like shows the camera and it's got like the Canadians logo, and so the crowd pops for that.
That's brilliant stuff. This was brilliant set piece style wrestling. This just laid everything out and it worked out. It got the biggest response possible. They even paid off the freaking stupid drill thing from the Beach Bridge matchup. Like, every single thing just felt so noticeably attention to detail on everything. He brings out the bag, and you're thinking it's thumbtacks, and then it's sand in it to pay off what happened at Beach Break. Like, it was all about the story of the matchup. It was all about paying it off. And Jericho winning in the end didn't take anything away from Ciampa. Ciampa got more over in the matchup despite losing, and that is the sign of a great matchup, is if the heel loses nothing when he eats shit at the end of the matchup.
Yeah, he quit because he got drilled in the head. Like, why wouldn't you quit off of that?
Jericho loves his unique submissions. He's the first guy who submitted to the swing, the Claudio swing. Now he's the first guy to win a match via drill submission.
Amazing stuff by Chris Jericho, doing this dumb shit. The Painmaker for this whole thing. Absolutely love it. Best match on the show. I don't care what anybody says.
Okay.
That's an opinion. I've never heard that opinion. But that's an opinion.
I've never heard that opinion before, but that's.
I went back and rewatched that. When Tony tells me that, it's the funniest thing. When I'm like, yeah, my favorite match is the Doomsday Cage match. He's like, that's an opinion. That's the great thing about this, Jeremy. We all have these opinions.
We can all have one. This is the first time I've heard that opinion before.
If nothing else, I'm unique in this space. Good or bad?
You are definitely unique. I'll give you that.
Overall thoughts on the show, SP3.
Good show, just well below the AEW pay-per-view standard. This is definitely the weakest pay-per-view of the year from AEW. Probably their weakest pay-per-view since AEW Dynasty 2025. But on a scale of like overall wrestling, it's better than every other WWE pay-per-view I've seen this year. So that's the bar, but that's the bar that AEW set for itself. So even if it's better than WWE pay-per-views, it's still below what AEW offers.
Yeah, below definitely AEW standards, but still a really good pay-per-view overall. You know, you still got 4 really good matches. You know, higher than really good, but on the AEW curve.
I would say 5, maybe even 6.
Ladder match.
The first 3 matches, ladder match, Bucks and Mox and Ospreay, and Fletcher Bandito. Then Jericho Ciampa.
Fletcher Bandito was one of the first 3.
Yeah,
you were just
I'm naming all of the matches.
Recapping. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Ciampa, Jericho, Willow, Tekla, and Omega and Knight.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, 5 strong matches overall. But the weak stuff was much weaker than you see on
much weaker than
typical
we're used
AEW
to
pay-per-views. Yeah,
on AEW
I think
pay-per-view.
that's what hurts it. Is like, because in the past a weak match on AEW pay-per-view is like, oh well, that's still like 4 stars, and here the weak stuff was like, oh, that's like 2 stars.
Yeah, like look at last month. What Forbidden Door? What was the weakest match on that show? I forget. Maybe it was like the Dogs versus Cope and Cage, but you still got the Jay White return in that one. Double or Nothing. It was Athena and Mina Shirakawa, which was just a good match because every other matchup on that show was a straight up banger. So like on AEW standard, having a match like the Bang Bang Gang versus the Dogs, we're just not used to seeing that level of bad on an AEW pay-per-view.
Overall, good for a B-level pay-per-view. Still better than most of what you're going to find elsewhere. Let's catch up on a bunch of super chats here. Volo says, I'm looking at the man on the Sixers. I'm not doing the hee-hee, Shimon. You're not tricking me. You're not forcing me into doing this. My biggest takeaway is don't put David Finlay in a match with chains.
Oh, you're right. I totally forgot the dog collar match from last year. With him and Evil at Dominion. Yeah, that was one of the worst matches of the year, too. Jeez.
Well, it had Evil, so I refuse to say it was one of the worst matches of the year.
That's probably what Tony was saying. Tony was like, oh, that was Evil in the matchup. This will have to be better.
That's right, exactly. It was David Finlay's fault, not Evil. Evil's about to have a banger dog collar match with Tony D'Angelo on NXT at whatever the next pay-per-view is. Great American Bash, Heat Wave, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the next pay-per-view is. Cyclops SP3, why do you hate Ospreay and the Death Riders?
I don't hate Ospreay, and for the most part, I don't hate the Death Riders. I definitely hated Ospreay in the Death Riders because it made one of your top baby faces leaning more into being a heel. From a storyline perspective, yeah, you can add layers to your babyface character, but when you are putting him in the group that was the terrorists that were trying to take over the company and suffocated a man and retired him and forced him into a forced retirement, then proceeded to try to take over TBS, kept the AEW world title hostage for a year, and then on top of all of that, decided to murder the man that is now in the group. That just made Ospreay, the top babyface, the guy that you want to crown at your biggest show of the year, into a fucking dummy. It's just a bad storyline. It's a bad storyline that could have been easily fixable.
And now I'm going to pay off this whole conversation by being the Will Ospreay of things and saying, yes, it was all stupid. It was all stupid. It should have never happened. Should have never joined the group. SP3, much like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, have made me see the ways that in my head, maybe this made sense, but in the end, it was all very dumb and it shouldn't have happened.
Trust me. It took me a while to figure this out as well. I was arguing against Jimmy Macaram when Jimmy hated this from the very beginning.
We had hopes. I remember when it started, we had hopes of like, okay, maybe they can make this make some sense here. Of because always going to just try to destroy the Death Riders from the inside.
We thought it was Brian and the Wyatt family, or Orton and the Wyatt family, and then we got quickly told that it was something completely different, and we all were like, "No, don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!" I literally had to argue. Like, shout out to my homie John Escudero from Dirt Sheet Radio, who comes on True Hill Heat, and he was a big supporter of this storyline from the beginning, and even he said that we need to make some adjustment. So, like, even the people that were in support of it from the beginning can even admit now that this didn't work. This didn't work the way that they probably intended it to work.
Yeah. I don't even know how they intended it to work. It's like that was the whole ending. Yeah. Ospreay not getting his own entrance a month before All In upset me way more than it should.
Unbelievably dumb. I was like, when they did the Death Riders intro, I was like, oh, cool. Will's gonna come out with the Death Riders intro. It's gonna go the that would have been so cool to hear, like the slow drawn out to this upbeat rock song.
Oh, it's over. Maybe. Do you think Ospreay beats Moxley on Dynamite leading into All In?
I think they're going to save that matchup till after All In. I think that the Death Riders will have some type of role in the build to Ospreay and Omega.
They have to.
Yeah, that's gonna take away from what you could possibly do with Moxley at All In, and that makes me ask the question, like, who is Moxley facing at All In? Because that doesn't seem clear. Like, we know the three top matches. We know Fletcher, Takeshita, and Okada in some combination is going to be a matchup on the card as well. But everything else on the card kind of feels up in the air and unpredictable in a way that can be good and a way that could be bad. Before last night, I thought we were also going to see Jay White versus David Finlay, but that chain match was so bad. I don't know if that's making the card anymore.
Henry's saying he faces Jay White at All In. Like, there's a story there because the Death Riders took out Jay last year.
We forgot to mention the one of the worst parts of last night's show. One of the longest parts of last night's show. Every matchup went above 15 minutes on last night's show, but I don't think even the longest matchup was as long as Mick Foley barking for the opinion.
I mean, I guess if Megan Payne and Lena Cross are like Bark, are like Bark, like what are you?
They just said
do?
bow
Like,
down, and he
not?
turned it into. You mean bow down, like bark like a dog, man? Woof woof woof. Bow bow bow. Bow woof 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 woof.
That was so weird, like so strange. Like, I get Mick wants to like maybe do silly kind of stuff, but like
that's totally a Mick Foley idea. You couldn't tell me otherwise.
Yeah.
We're gonna need Mick Foley to clear his name, because that makes me believe that it's 100% a Mick Foley idea.
Yeah, I was like baffled by this. Yeah, it was a ring of hallucinations-ish. Yeah, I'm not gonna pretend otherwise.
He said, from Jeremy tells Foley, go make Megan Payne and Lena Cross look strong. Go bark for them like a dog.
I just don't like. I didn't even think like it made them look strong or anything. It just made Mick look silly. I'm like, now I gotta watch this dude like in other interview segments. I can't take him serious after this. It was so baffling. It did feel like it lasted forever. I was like, is he still barking? Why get the camera off this man?
Like, what did they cut? How did this make air? How did this make the air? Like they didn't cut it like mid fourth bark. I would have cut it to the commentary table.
See, I would have been okay if this was like RJ City doing this. I was like, yeah. Sure. Like RJ.
But it's Mick Foley.
One, like, days after Willow is like, this man is a legend. He's been through all these brawls and battles and bloodiness. And then he's just like barking like a dog, like 4 days later. Like, sure.
That's a choice.
Yeah, people are gonna like ask him to start barking at cons and stuff.
Will you bark
worse
for me?
No, you know what's gonna be worse is Alina and Mega cons, and people are just gonna start barking at them. Like that's actually gonna be the worst fallout from all of this.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, this was.
Woof.
But
it did make it clear that we're getting Divine Dominion and the Brawling Birds.
Yeah,
that was the thing that was clear from that segment.
Yeah. And Louis saying story, Death Riders and Ospreay would be better if Jericho was involved. Factual, everything's better if Jericho's involved.
Everything is better if Jericho's involved.
Maybe that's who Moxley faces at All In, Chris Jericho.
By the way, I think I booked this entire final segment. I literally called it beat for beat on our preview on Friday. I literally said they're going to do an angle where Ospreay has to choose between Omega and the Death Riders. And then John Escudero said that then at the end, it should be Omega who attacks Ospreay to establish because you have to build towards that matchup. Because my thing of Ospreay chooses Omega over the Death Riders builds more to Ospreay versus Mox. So you have to put the focus back on Omega and Ospreay. So we came up with the idea. You welcome everyone who enjoyed it.
Ospreay should have attacked both men and not been such a coward. He should have bagged Omega, and then he should have wasted Moxley with the hidden blade.
You want the big baby face to get booed before he wins.
I don't care. He's an idiot.
Yeah. Okay.
He bags Omega, and then he still wastes Moxley, and he's just like, "I'm my own man." And he said, "You did teach me something." John Moxley.
Except he's doing Moxley's move.
What do you mean?
The bag. You said the bag.
Oh, yeah. But then he hits Moxley with the hidden blade.
But he's not his own man because he did Moxley's move to take out Omega.
He made his own decision.
I don't think you need to take out. You don't need to take out Omega. You don't need to take out Omega.
I agree. I'm just throwing ideas out here.
I got an idea. All In, Maya World versus Athena, title for title. TBS Championship versus ROH Women's World Championship.
I'm not mad at that. I don't think they're gonna do it.
They're not going to do it, but
Yeah.
we're coming up with ideas that are good, but they're not going to do. So good. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I don't know if Athena is gonna get back on television.
I don't know either, but she was on Collision this week. They're teasing her MIT doing something with the Brawling Birds. Maybe that can segue.
Brawling Birds beating them is what they're teasing.
Yeah. Maya World. I know they're gonna lose that world, but maybe Athena tries to interfere in the matchup, and Maya World stops her, and that's how we start the build.
Put Billy Starks in Divine Dominion because she's towering over all these people.
She was very tall in that.
Billy Starks is 7 feet tall. I will not hear any differently at this point.
Very, very tall. Henry K saying, does Athena lose the belt at the next ROH pay-per-view? Ha!
To who?
That's my answer. Exactly.
I mean,
they're the only person they built up is Maya. So if it's not Maya facing her at Death Before Dishonor, she sure as hell ain't losing that title.
Yeah. You know what should have happened with Ospreay?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Instead of him running out to save Omega and stopping the Death Riders stuff, he should have dropped down from the rafters in Painmaker face. And he could be the new Painmaker. And then he just takes everybody out. He takes out the whole Death Riders with the hidden blade. He doesn't need a bat. Just all with a hidden blade. He saves Omega. He doesn't hit Omega at all. He just takes out the entire Death Riders. That's what should have happened.
Fascinating stuff.
Why is this a bad idea? I
didn't say it was.
Dropping down.
I didn't say it was. I said fascinating. Actually.
He's Sting.
Yeah.
He's an idiot like Sting a lot of times. So.
No, that's Darby's gimmick. Sorry. That's Darby's gimmick.
That's kind of true. That's kind of true.
I think maybe we get Darby and Kevin Knight in a rematch at All In.
Yeah.
My question to you though, what does Swerve and Hangman do at All In?
I don't feel like they should face Moxley, but I'm struggling so much with the Moxley idea that it almost feels like you just go back to a Swerve or a Hangman match. Yeah. But I don't love that at all. I don't know if Hangman is like good to wrestle right now.
Yeah.
I really don't.
The whole neck thing has put like things in a spanner as far as when it comes to Hangman Page and what his future holds, and the fact that they have treated his return in Roanoke as like a non-canon event.
Yeah. That was we're in Virginia. Here's Hangman Page. Like that
should have been a dark segment, like. Honestly.
Yeah. Why are we teaming Swerve and Hangman?
Yeah, I don't need them to team at All In. I think that's a waste of
Swerve is way too heelish and Hangman is not. Like, did we just forget about that?
He's 100% a babyface.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen people suggest, like, Ryan's on the first person. I've seen people suggest, like, oh, let's team up Swerve and Hangman. I was like, did we just forget Swerve was, like, kind of a despicable person before he was off TV?
They could set up Hangman and Moxley again for the Continental Championship this time. They have the Death Riders attack the Elite and Ospreay, so they have a 5-on-4 advantage, and then Hangman returns, evens the odds, and then in the 5-on-5 10-man tag, Hangman pins Moxley. Boom!
Wow, you're really beating John Moxley here.
Because he shouldn't be the most protected guy in this goddamn company. I'm sick of this shit, yo. Like, not enough people are talking about the fact that Jimmy McAram is actually right. That Moxley is a Triple H, Roman Reigns level political mastermind in the AEW locker room. The fact that he's always a part of the main event picture. Even when this Ospreay and Omega thing they could have told this story without the Death Riders completely, yet he has somehow found his way into the build to another All In main event in back-to-back years. Makes me fucking sick.
All right, what about Hangman and Kevin Knight?
That has built to it already because of their history together. So I wouldn't mind that. I would love if they just did Speedball and Kevin again. Honestly, like that's what I wish they would do. I wish they would have done it at this pay-per-view. Honestly, they would have done that as the title match.
What about, and somebody in the Greater Than Horror says it, and people are going to dismiss it, but Swerve and Jericho.
Swerve and Jericho?
We're getting that match.
That could work. Yeah, like that's a matchup that is fresh. It's new.
Swerve wants it.
Yeah, Swerve wants it. You know, Jericho probably wants it. They're two top stars. That is one that I did not think of that I'm actually like, yeah, that's probably the route we should go.
Yeah, Swerve really wants that match. If you listen to it, like, he loves Chris Jericho so much.
Yeah, that's like his mentor.
Yeah.
Him and Edge.
Matthew's saying, why do you think Swerve wants it? Because he said 100 times that he wants that match.
Yeah, he said it like 1,000,000 times. He does any interview, if he brings up Jericho, he has nothing but nice things to say about Jericho. And anytime he's asked about what is your dream match that you still haven't done, he says Jericho.
Yeah, he loves Chris Jericho. So I would imagine Chris Jericho would have no problem doing that match either. So yeah, I think we're getting that at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe now is the time to do it. I still don't know where that leaves Mox. Like,
it's the Hangman one makes the most sense. It's the one
Mox
that
and Hangman again.
Yeah. Why the hell not? Who else are you? I said before, Brody.
I agree. King, there's not
Brody
a great.
King. Brody King would be
King.
if you wanna like basically cash in on the fact that you have protected Mox this much. He hasn't lost a singles match in the whole year, and you want to put over a guy that's relatively new that could get something out of beating Mox one-on-one. Brody King would be the best option on the roster.
I'm not mad at Brody King. They've cooled him off so much that it kind of upsets me.
They have, but this would be the best way to kind of get him back.
You know why Fletcher and Bandito had to go out there and put on the best match of the night? Because that Comic-Con angle sucked.
I didn't mind it.
I don't need pro wrestlers doing like a brawl, like a staged brawl, if they can't do a good staged brawl. That shit looked so weak.
The Brody strikes looked weak for me.
Everything looked weak. Like when Brody goes out and like kills Darby at this stuff, like that's fun. Like, but this, like, they're just like shoving each other, and then Bandito comes up, and then he like takes off the mask to reveal it. I was like, this, and then they like throw these weak ass punches, and then they finally, it looks so bad. Yeah, Brody like throwing Darby off stages and shit. That looks cool. This
and it didn't even seem necessary. Like,
no, like of all the things you're gonna do a brawl, a Comic-Con brawl with, like Kyle Fletcher and Bandito is your big thing.
Like, really? Like, I would have done like at least like maybe Tekla and Willow if you're gonna
Tekla and Willow would have made sense
to a match at Redemption.
Yeah. The Bandito and Fletcher thing looks so weak. I was like,
yeah,
all right, sure.
Didn't look the best.
How about Jon Moxley against? Remember when the Death Riders are going to turn on Moxley?
You remember we were all on that at the end of last year. Now we have put that in the deepest confines of our memory museum because that's never happening.
Yeah. Like, oh, Claudio's going to be the leader, or Pac's going to be the leader. Like, no.
We had a whole debate. We had a long debate on who would be the better leader of the Death Riders without Mox.
Mox against Darby Allin. I don't need to see that again either. Like,
no,
I
need to see Mox and Darby less than I need to see Mox and Hangman.
I don't need to see Mox against any of these dudes that he's already faced and spent like all last year facing. Like, I don't need any of that. How
Cruz
about
Montana would be a crazy name for Mike Santana.
that would suck.
Cruz Montana.
I got it. SP3.
Uh-huh.
Death Riders. Wyatt 6. Stadium Stampede. We're gonna do two mystery matches on here. Kyrie is one. The other will be the debut of the Wyatt 6. Because the Death Riders are going to come out and they're going to say, we're holding this show hostage and all that shit. And then the lights are going to go down. And then the Fireflies are going to come out. And the Wyatt 6 are going to appear in the ring. And the crowd's going to chant, holy shit. Because they chanted, holy shit, when the Wyatts and Solo and the Sikoas faced off.
Oh, that's funny. That's really funny.
That's my match. The Death Riders against the Wyatts.
Book it.
Did anything happen on SmackDown? I felt like SmackDown was like actually good.
SmackDown was fine. Mostly because of that Punk and Cody promo. I thought the Punk and Cody promo was a strong piece of business. It actually got me invested into their program. Although I feel like they have only scratched the surface on what they could actually dive into story-wise. And the fact that they are relying upon something so trivial as Punk throwing his strap back and it hitting Cody in the face. And that's caused Cody, the most white meat babyface
so
that lets
lame.
everybody get away with everything to him. He's actually upset about this to his actual friend. And his actual friend that he apparently doesn't really even like that much.
Yeah.
It was good. It just had some flaws to it.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I felt like the delivery was good. It was very believable in what they were saying. I can't get behind this match that was put together 2 weeks ago because opportunities fall out of the sky, and then the way they tried to put heat on it was, oh, let me throw my title over my shoulder and it hit you in the face. And then I thought they made it even lamer with that kickoff show where it's like, that was an accident. This isn't. And he just pie-faced them. I was like, this shit is lame.
I was like, this is quite fascinating because this is the second time this year that WWE is doing a high-profile CM Punk feud with another babyface where they make both people seem like very unlikable individuals.
The other reason that this, like, I couldn't get behind it as much is Cody's like, I respect you, I don't like you. I was like, okay. I watched Roman Reigns tell this man, I hate you earlier. So you're just telling me that there's less heat on this because that match, at least, the dudes hated each other. You're just like, I don't really like you. You're just you. I tolerate you a little bit, but I don't actually.
I don't really like you.
Yeah,
because he basically explained that he resents Cody. I mean, he resents Punk because he did everything that Punk said he was going to do in the pipe bomb, but the fans always wanted Punk to be the one who did it, not Cody. So it was basically like a sequel to his final AEW promo and kind of putting it into the context of them two. I did like the mention of back in 2022, I followed you because you showed me there was a way back home. So I like all those things. I like the intensity that both guys brought. It just is a very, very thin reasoning for their animosity. That's all I will say.
Cody is, I mean, Money Mark says little brother. Punk called him little brother. Cody's giving total little brother syndrome.
Yeah.
On this.
He is.
Because when he's like, yeah, I did all these things, but I resent that, the crowd wishes it was you. Like, I did all these things. You didn't do shit, buddy. You did follow me. Exactly. Like, they should be worshiping me. Wait, stand up for yourself, Cody. Don't be the little brother in this. You're supposed
Don't
to be QB1.
You, bro.
You're supposed to be QB1, but you're third on the depth chart. What are we doing, Cody?
You are. Then they got the number. They got number 4 telling us he's number 2. They got all those numbers confused.
Yeah, them referencing like the AEW stuff, but they can't say AEW. The crowd just does not care.
The crowd does not know what they're talking about.
No, they do not care at all about this. It's like, oh, okay. Like, there's no pop on these references. Absolutely none.
But they were into this segment overall.
Yeah, I mean, they like this segment. They did like the segment. The Nick Aldis stuff, Aldis and Gunther. Nick Aldis is temporarily not the GM, but after the match, he can be the GM. They did reference that Nick Aldis.
They didn't say that, though.
Well, he might not be, but
yeah.
At least for right now.
He's not the general manager because he signed the contract.
But they did say it was temporary.
I mean, I didn't get that.
They literally said it.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, they said like it's a temporary relinquishment. I was trying to find the word of the position. So he could come back to it. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe they do something else to where he doesn't. But it is temporary. Yeah. They did reference that all this was a former NWA World's Heavyweight Champion. Suck it, Joel Pearl.
They did.
Yeah.
I thought that was it was a decent segment. I thought they did well to kind of lay down what the story of the matchup is. I like all this saying, I haven't wrestled in 3 years. I have nothing to lose. You the one that could become your boss's bitch. So I like that little slight towards Gunther, and then Gunther getting the last laugh, putting him through the table at the end. They've done a good job with this program, even though it's way below Gunther, to be honest.
Well, he's gonna retire Nick Aldis now.
I guess before he even started wrestling. So they did announce the lineups for night 1 and 2 of SummerSlam.
Yeah, one second. Yeah, we gotta stay on this SmackDown show real quickly.
That was the 2 important things, to be honest.
No, there was a very important part of this show.
Match was made, yeah.
We're getting Finn Balor and Sammy at the show at SummerSlam. And the winner gets
the Sammy promo was the best part of the show.
Sammy promo was very good. But they gave you no women's wrestling on Raw, right? That was a big complaint everybody had. So on SmackDown, they showed you why they gave you no women's wrestling on Raw.
They definitely did. Because if you want women's wrestling, you get a 5-minute Brie, Bella, and Lainey Reed matchup. And you get a 5-minute Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax.
5?
It went 3?
This shit went like 10.
It felt like 5 because I was only.
It felt like 20.
It felt like 5 because I was only paying attention to it for half of the time.
No, Chelsea and Kiana went like 3, but Charlotte and Nia, it was like 10 minutes, and it ended in a DQ. Like, are we really protecting Nia Jax at this point? That Charlotte Flair can't beat her? What?
She's not like most girls.
3 women's matches, and I'm sorry, these were rough.
These were not good.
Rough.
These were not good. It's quite astonishing. Matthew Hook says it in the chat, but I will go one step further and clarify your statement. The AEW women's division is dramatically better booked than the WWE's women's division. I don't think the AEW women's division is outright better than WWE's, but it's definitely booked better. And that's saying a lot considering that Tony Khan gets traditionally disparaged and criticized for his booking of the women's division. But in 2026, he's booked it better than, honestly, WWE, because WWE, with the amount of talent that they have and the level of effort that they put into the division, is quite sad.
Yeah, there's no effort in the WWE Women's Division. Like, none. It's just here's some matches to put on this show because we don't actually have any cohesion in what we're doing.
Yep.
And on Raw, they don't even do that. Here's no matches. Here's no segments. Anything else from SmackDown? Or okay, you did mention the nights of SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Night 2 looks kind of weak, but the Tribal Chief is headlining because the true.
Wait. Can I call out Zeno Hour now? Because Zeno Hour was up in our chat last week, like, oh man, Cody and Punk is definitely going to main event night 2 because they're the bigger matchup.
Nah.
I was like,
Tribal Chief all day, baby. All day, the Tribal Chief is headlining. We don't care about this Cody Rhodes and CM Punk nonsense. They ain't the Tribal Chief. Night 2 looks so weak, though. They should have put
night one. Night 1 is stacked.
Yeah, Night 1 looks much better than Night 2. And Night 2, I'm like, what's supposed to be good? Like, Penta and Gable will be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be bookend. They're gonna open the show with Penta and Gable. That's gonna be a banger. They're gonna end the show with Roman and Seth. That's gonna be a banger. And then the middle portion.
And Trick and Corbin, they'll get like 5 minutes.
Interim women's title ladder match.
That could be a train wreck in all the wrong ways, and I'm actually for it. So
yeah.
Finn and Sammy will probably be good if they get time, but it's just kind of a thrown together match. And then, I mean, Danhausen and Dominic, we're supposed to take Dominic seriously in AAA, and now he's got a new faction, even though he's in the Judgment Day on the main roster, and he's facing.
Yo, that shit didn't make any sense.
None.
Like, he wrestled a fucking 20-minute matchup just to turn on him at the end. What the fuck was that for?
None.
And that match was great. It was a great matchup. It was a very like Attitude Era style tag team main event. It was the best thing on the show, but like the ending just made no sense whatsoever. Why did Dom wrestle for 20 minutes just to turn on El Grande at the end? That shit pissed me off.
Night 1 is Punk and Cody, Hell in a Cell, Liv and EO, Aldis and Gunther. I probably would have swapped and put Aldis and Gunther on Night 2.
Agreed.
And put something else, maybe Dominic and Danhausen on Night 1, and then the 6-woman's tag, and then the 6-man tag as well. Yeah, I would have put one of the top 4 matches from Night 1 on Night 2, swapped it with something else.
And I wouldn't put both six trios matches on the same show.
Yeah, back-to-back trios matches. I mean, maybe they won't be back-to-back, but yeah, putting 2 trios matches on the same show is a little like questionable. So, and
I agree with Mikey. I agree with Mikey in the chat. AAA has fallen off since Mass versus Mass.
I think they were never going to be able to like super follow that up. Is part of the problem is like you're at the peak right there. Everything else is going to be viewed as falling off. So. All right, SP3. What was your moment of the weekend?
My moment of the weekend. My moment of the weekend was Kenny Omega giving Will Ospreay the AJ Styles treatment with a one-wing angel because he always pulls the trigger, and that's why he's our AEW World Champion.
My moment of the weekend was the Painmaker. Chris Jericho, reminding everybody why he's still the greatest wrestler of all time. That man did not need to take an air raid crash through the glass, by the way. That was absurd.
And he almost killed him. It almost killed him.
Yeah.
They said the glass was hanging out of his skin. I was like, oh.
It was that shot of his back?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. What did we accomplish today, SP3?
So much. We were redeemed.
The biggest thing we accomplished today is that SP3 likes to save things from the start. and I like to save things at the end.
But in the end, we met in the middle.
Yes. Yeah, AEW did announce a Dynamite episode called Rebel Heart,
Nice.
and I was looking for details on it. 1 second before we wrap. Honoring everything from Rebel. I was seeing if they were. I assume proceeds are going to an ALS foundation. It doesn't. It just says they're honoring Rebel, who was diagnosed with ALS, but it doesn't say anything about the proceeds. But I imagine. I don't look at the full press release. I just saw the tweet. I imagine in the full press release there is more about it. So yeah. Yeah, there's ways to donate everything. Again, I imagine proceeds are going to go to the IMALS Foundation that Rebel is part of. All right, SP3, let everybody know where they can find you at.
Find me on the Twitter stream machine at TrueHillSP3. I will be live in about 2 minutes over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel for our AEW Redemption 2026 review. If you want to hear the rest of my thoughts on last night's pay-per-view, more detailed breakdown of the show, I'll be there with John Escudero, J News, and Professor Chris. So join us live for that. And thank you as always, Jeremy.
Appreciate you, buddy. We'll be back tomorrow. Are you back tomorrow?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if you swapped the day with Joel or anything.
I did not.
SP3 and I'll be back tomorrow, allegedly reviewing Raw. Hopefully it's halfway decent. Otherwise, we got to find a new game to play since we've conquered every other game. Until then, everybody, thank you for the support, super chats, all that fun stuff. Talk to everybody tomorrow.